Yo, what is up everybody? Jumpin' here, and today I'm going to be bringing you some more Destiny multiplayer, aka the Crucible. This is going to be on the map First Light, and yeah, it's basically the moon. Now, there's two maps in the beta, although they did release two other maps when they had like some challenge going on. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play that day, so I really didn't get a chance to play on those maps. But I definitely wanted to talk about this map and talk about the vehicles, especially the Interceptor, which is the tank. Now, the first thing I will say is that Bungie has already came out and said that they will be nerfing this thing. And I have to say, it sounds like a good nerf because they're going to make it so that it's not going to fire as fast because it's going to require a longer cooldown time between shots, and the radius is going to also be decreased. I think they said that they're going to also decrease the damage slightly, so that is something to consider. But yeah, this is going to be a really good demonstration on how broken this tank can be, because I love this thing. I mean, I don't really like this map all that much just because I've never been one to be all about the vehicles, but the truth is this, is that when you're playing on this map, you really have to get the tank. And I don't know if it's the playlist or what, maybe it's the map, but for some reason, about 90% of the time I play on this map, we do not finish in the time limit. It goes to time. And I think the reason for that is because this map is really meant for more people. Maybe 8v8 or 10v10, 12v12. I don't know what the big team battle is going to be like in Destiny, because right now the standard game is 6v6, and I know that there are playlists for 3v3, which sounds really awesome for like competitive play. 6v6 I would say could be probably pretty competitive as well. But yeah, I do believe there will be some type of big team battle playlist, and I think this map would be a lot better if it was in a playlist like that, because depending on the game types, I don't really know all of them. All we know in the beta is this one, which is like domination or territories, whatever you want to compare it to. But it does definitely remind me of domination from Call of Duty. But yeah, you know, this map would be a lot better if it was in big team, just because you would be able to finish the match, where right now it's kind of difficult. It does happen, but it just seems like it's kind of rare. Most of the time, the time limit runs out before one team will get 20,000 points. Now, I do want to talk about the vehicles on this map, but I also want to talk quickly about the weapons and the classes, because I haven't really been able to talk about those yet in terms of the multiplayer. Let me start with the vehicles though, because I really wanted to make this video to demonstrate the vehicles, to talk about the vehicles, and to talk about this map. Alright, so for the majority of this video, I'm going to be whoring the vehicles. I will be in the Interceptor a lot, and I will be using the Pike, just to really demonstrate how good they are, and how easy they are to use. Especially if you know how to control the map. So that's a big part of it. You have to kind of predict where the other team is going to be spawning. And a good way to do that is just to simply look around the map. Like if you're holding, let's say, B and C, well, they might have A, so they might spawn at A. But if you're taking A, they're probably going to spawn at B or C. I think it really comes down to how many people are in those positions. Like, for example, if nobody is at C, but you're holding C, then more than likely, if you're taking A, they're going to spawn at C. So if you're in this tank, you need to quickly move over to C to try to catch them off guard on spawn. The big thing you have to worry about being in a vehicle is the turrets. I like the fact they put the turrets on the map just to help you counter the vehicles, but there are plenty of ways that you can actually counter the vehicles. One great way to do it, and I think one of the smartest ways of going about it, is to actually just try to hide from the vehicle and then snipe the guy off of it. If you get a headshot and you shoot it in the back, you will snipe that guy right off, and you can steal the vehicle for yourself. And of course, you can just shoot him twice in the body and take him out that way. Now, another great way to counter it is to just use your super. Although you might not have your super all the time, so that's why I brought up the sniping thing first. but the super will destroy the vehicle no matter what, so that's a great way of going about it as well. Now, one thing you might want to do, it's really up to you and how you want to go about playing, but if the other team is controlling the vehicles, because that is the part that can really get frustrating with this map. If the other team has both tanks and they have multiple pikes, it's really gonna suck for you. And if that's the case, you're probably gonna want to stay in the buildings, because in the buildings the vehicles cannot get you. I mean, they can technically maybe shoot a missile inside and that can maybe get you, but more than likely they will not get you in the buildings. But that is the frustrating thing about the vehicles, is that if one team can really hold down the vehicles, which when I play this map, that's what I try to do. That's why I want the tank, is because I want to be in it so that I don't die, hopefully. And I can try to control the spawns and then call out when there is a vehicle available for my teammates. See, in this gameplay I was playing with my buddy Stick and DK. And anytime that the tank came up, I would say, the tank's up, somebody get it. Or I would say, the pike's up, get the pike. Just because I wanted my team to control the vehicles at all times to really put the other team at a disadvantage. Alright, so that's really all I have to say about the vehicles and about this map. Now, I wanted to quickly talk about the playlist though. Whatever this is, like I said before, it reminds me of Domination from Call of Duty or Territories from Halo. But I really think they need to, like, increase the amount of points you get for holding the territories, because to me it seems like the territories are kind of secondary. Yes, you want to get them so that you can control the spawns, but that's really the only purpose that I can see, because killing enemies, that's what really grants you the majority of the points. So if you are killing everyone and you have multiple teammates that are doing really well, everyone's going mad positive, you could still win the game without really controlling the territories, which really shouldn't be the way it is. It should be more objective based and not so much about slaying the other team. So that's one thing I don't like about this playlist. I hope they increase the amount of points that you get for actually holding the territories. That way it makes more sense. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a game with randoms and they do not capture the points. And it's extremely frustrating because I want to do it. I want to get the points because that's the point of an objective playlist. And of course I also want to control the spawns that way. But it just really comes down to killing more than anything else. And I don't like that. Alright, so I'm running out of time here, but I did want to talk about the weapons and the classes. I'm going to start with the weapons because I really have no complaints about the weapons. I think all the weapons are pretty good. Some weapons are not as good though, so I think that's somewhat of a problem, like the pulse rifles, for example. I don't really like the pulse rifles, although I love the BR from Halo. I do not like the pulse rifles. Now, I do think the single shot rifles, I think those are pretty good. But the auto rifles seem to be the best. So maybe they could rebalance it a little bit to make all the rifles really good. Shotguns are great in close quarters, but you know, hey, that's a shotgun. Snipers are great at long range, but hey, that's a sniper. Rockets are okay. The machine guns are alright. So in general, I don't really have too many complaints about the weapons. The one thing that's kind of confusing though is the attack rating. I'm assuming that's what it is. When you look at any weapon, it always has like the same attack rating. But you actually have to look at the stats. The impact is the damage, the rate of fire, things like that, the range, the stability, because that's going to determine how good a weapon really is. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to bring that up because it's kind of confusing when you see a weapon that has 56 damage and you're like, wait a minute, this assault rifle has 56 damage, but the machine gun has 56 damage, but the machine gun kills a lot quicker and does more damage. What's up? Well, you have to look at the impact and the rate of fire and things like that to really determine how good the weapon really is. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about was the classes. I guess it's a matter of opinion which one you think is the best. I personally believe it's the Hunter. The Hunter has a lot of things going for it. The grenades, they regenerate really quickly. The power is really good. The golden gun. It's really easy to get 3 kills with that because you have range. It doesn't really matter. They could be close range, they could be far away. So it's really easy to get at least 2 kills with it. Where the other powers, I would say, yes, you could potentially kill the entire team with like the Titan or the Warlock, but the chance of that happening would be pretty rare. And I would say it's not as consistent as the Golden Gun. But remember, that's my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. Now, one of the small things, but it actually is a huge thing to me, is the double jump. The double jump is so good on the Hunter, and the Warlock's glide ability, oh god, it's like dookie. And I don't like the Titan's jump either. Now, the one thing about the Titan I really do like, though, is that it is kind of like the tank. It regenerates its health really quick. You get your shields back really quick, so that's nice. I think the Warlock is like the fastest runner, but at the same time, it's like the weakest in terms of armor, so the regen isn't as good. But to me, like I said, I just think the Hunter's the best because the armor's not too bad. The regeneration of grenades is really good. And you get the best jump. Now, one thing about the Warlock, though, is that there is this thing called Blink. I haven't tried it yet because I don't even know if I can unlock it in the beta. And if you could, it probably would take forever. But Blink sounds really cool because the way I imagine it is that it's going to be like a jump. But instead of jumping, you're going to like basically teleport. So you're going to like jump and then teleport to the destination. Now, that sounds really awesome for the Warlock, because you could probably use that to really throw people off in PvP and destroy people. But unfortunately, the Hunter gets that as well. So it's one of those things like, oh, that would be really cool, but the Hunter gets it. So what the fuck? Alright guys, well that's going to pretty much do it for this video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, will you please like and favorite the video for me? And I hope everyone has a very nice day. Peace out.